This is the SSR Sand Viper. It's a fat bike with an electric motor, nice mid-mounted battery pack right there. One of the most affordable fat tire electric bikes I've ever seen in person and test ridden to date. It's really quite remarkable. I've had a lot of extra time to spend on this bike because I've taken it to the beach and done some ride tests, which you'll see. And I just want to call out some of the specs before we do that. It's using a 350 watt geared front mounted motor, which is interesting. Normally I'd kind of prefer the motor being in the back, but with something like this that's sort of an efficient size, it's not adding a whole lot of weight, especially given the 26-inch wheels with these 4-inch wide super fat tires. I mean, the benefit of a fat tire like this is it's going to help you to go across snow or sand, stuff that you might otherwise sink in. You've got a larger surface area, so that's going to help you maneuver better and get some efficiency on soft terrain. And of course it gives you a little bit of a spongy, sort of soaks up the bumps when you're riding too. Couple tips here with fat tire bikes. If you pump them up real firm like these are right now, that's going to be the most efficient for like concrete where we're riding in this parking lot. But if you let a little bit of air out, they're going to handle a little bit better, and they're going to not sink in as much when you're on the snow or sand. So that's worth keeping in mind, but then it's not going to operate as efficiently either. So it's hard to put air back into the tires once you're out there doing this kind of thing. So yeah, right back here we've got a mechanical disc brake, same as in the front. This is 160 millimeter Tektro Novella. These pretty solid grips up here. They've got a little rubber strip. It's got the regular cable for pulling that caliper down there on the disc brake, but it's also got a second wire coming out of it, and that actually has a motor cutoff switch. So anytime you pull that brake lever, it's going to turn off the motor, and that's a great safety feature because this is a pedal assist electric bike in addition to being throttle. So at any given time, depending on what level of pedal assist you're in, and there are 5, see those little magnets in there, these little silver bits? Those magnets, there are 12 of them. They pass by a little sensor in here, and there's the wire for the sensor. Basically, they tell the motor to start or stop. Now, it's not quite as fluid or smooth as like a torque sensor or maybe a multi-sensor where it's looking at the speed of your pedaling, speed of your bike, and the torque. But this isn't bad at all. It's especially for like a budget bike like this. It's nice that they've got a couple, well, 5 different levels of assist and throttle mode. The cool thing about this throttle is that it actually has an on-off switch built right into it. So at any given time you can turn that off, and then you don't have to worry about accidentally kicking the throttle on when you're in pedal assist mode. And of course you're going to get the best range in pedal assist, and that's maybe important depending on how far you want to go. We've got 6 speeds here. We're using a Shimano Acera cassette in the rear. That's decent. 6 gears is enough to let you climb a hill or slug through sand, but these 5 other speeds to give you an opportunity to go faster and have some of that efficiency if your tires are pumped up and you're looking for speed. So pretty solid, good stuff. Acera is sort of the entry level on Shimano's mountain bike derailleur lineup, so keep that in mind. Got a nice little plastic bash guard here on that front ring, and that sort of just keeps your pants from hitting that greasy wire and getting messed up. Sometimes you'll see an aluminum bash guard, and that's going to be a little bit more protection if a rock or a log on the trail comes into contact with those teeth. It could knock your chain off or dent one of those teeth, so that's cool. I love these pedals. These are aluminum alloy platforms by Welgo, extra wide, nice little nubs here to keep your feet from slipping off. It's really good stuff. It's worth noting that if we look at this bike, I brought it here with a friend's truck. There aren't quick release wheels on this one, and even though you could carry like a wrench and just kind of take those nuts off, there is a quick disconnect in the wire, but it's just going to be a little bit more screwing around than if it had quick release, or if you got a really fancy mid-drive electric bike where the wheels are just like any normal bike. You don't have extra cables and stuff. So that's one of the trade-offs here. And again, a little bit more weight in the front, but I love that the battery is mounted right there on the down tube, because that's going to keep the weight low, centered. It's a good setup, and this is a great battery. It's actually got like an LED indicator. It's completely depleted right now because I did my ride tests and everything before shooting this video this time. But I don't want to get off track too much here. Love that there's a seat post suspension element. That's going to help, as I mentioned, with the tires before. Got this nice soft saddle. kind of spongy. There's actually a light built into this bike, which is really cool, and that runs off the main battery pack. So in addition to having throttle mode, pedal assist, you also have a light, and the battery is removable on this, so you can take it off and you could ride this like a normal bike if you wanted. That motor might add like 5 extra pounds of weight to the bike, and otherwise it's just going to be just like a normal fat bike. And of course, taking the battery off makes it easier to load in your truck, or if you want to store that inside away from extreme heat, extreme cold, it's going to help it last longer. And if you keep the battery from getting below 20%, and then, you know, some people, it's like, well, between 20 and 80% is kind of where the battery is going to feel the most comfortable. So some people don't like to overcharge it all the time, or leave it plugged in. That could be kind of bad. Let the charger heat up and everything. So I love the bell. Got these nice ergonomic grips up front. The display is actually really cool. In order to operate that though, you first have to turn the battery pack on. There's a power switch right there. I've already clicked, and then you press on off there, and you can see here we've got speed, we've got trip distance, you've got your battery level indicator, assist level, which starts in 1, and you can turn assist completely off by hitting down, and then you'll see that first bar just flashes. The throttle won't work, pedal assist won't work. It's just a cycle computer at this point. And then we have 5 levels, and the 5th level is the most power, but of course it's going to drain the battery pack a little bit faster. And in order to operate the light, as I mentioned earlier, you just press that power button one more time. You can kind of see the backlighting turns on, and there's the headlight right there. So very cool. Good stuff. And overall, even though the display isn't removable, it's kind of permanently fixed, it's not bad at all. Again, for $1,300 complete, this is a pretty solid bike. And I love the kickstand too. It just makes it, you know, a little bit more stable in your garage. It's not going to tip and chip the paint. It's not going to chip the paint on your car, probably more importantly too. So yeah, I did weigh this. It's about 61 pounds. Not bad. The battery pack is 6.5 pounds on its own, so you can you could get it down to maybe like 56, 57 pounds, just the frame and the wheels and everything like that. It is an aluminum alloy frame, which is nice, you know, a little bit lighter than something like steel. This light can actually be angled up or down, which is cool. And it's nice that it isn't mounted on a fender or something. It doesn't actually vibrate too much. It stays pretty well fixed. So I think that's kind of it. Yeah, let's get it out there and do some ride tests. The first thing I noticed is that, I mean, this thing it's just, you know, pretty heavy, and you're pushing on the pedals like this. It's slow to start. It's a lot of, it just takes extra energy to get these wheels rolling. And once they are rolling, they keep that momentum a little bit better. But the first thing I found myself wanting to do was switch gears. Whoa. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that real quick while I'm riding. Switch hands. Okay. Take it all the way down to the lowest gear. It's nice to have, you know, an easier cadence when you're getting started, especially. And then once you get up to speed, you can click those gears and maintain it a little bit better. Okay, so now I'm gonna arrow up to assist level 1 and give it a little bit of a, oh yeah, I can immediately feel it. Okay, and then I can go back over here and arrow up to level 5 pedal assist. Yeah, a lot of get up and go, That's really cool. Definitely digging that. Feels pretty powerful. So we've only done, you know, like a little loop here in the parking lot. I think it might be a good time to take it out and see how it performs on some sand. I'm gonna get away from some of the people here and find a nice private area to do this. Now I can actually use those harder gears. I'm going 23, 22 kilometers per hour right now. I'm gonna pedal a little bit more. And up to 35.7 kilometers per hour. Pretty impressive, and it was still helping out. Again, we're in pedal assist mode right now, but I can also use the twist throttle 33.4. Looks like that's about where it stops, about 35 kilometers per hour. Okay. Let's go out and hit the beach a little bit with this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and just take it down to an easier gear. And I think I'm gonna try from standstill. That way we can see, how it does just starting from rest. Sand, it's gonna sink in a little bit. It's gonna cause some extra work for the bike. And I'm gonna do it with throttle mode only to start with. And I'm gonna head out straight out to the ocean. Okay, so I'm just about stopped. Oh, and see, it's actually kicking up sand. I am helping it a little bit with my feet. We really aren't going anywhere. It is really struggling. Whoa. Okay, now I'm helping it a little more with my feet so we can actually get to the beach. This is not going very well. Oh boy. And sand is not good for my camera equipment or whatnot. We barely got off the track there, and it's just sinking in. And some of that might be because the tires are fairly full, and I don't want to deflate them right now because I'm gonna do that range test as well. And if I deflate them, it'll impact the ride that way. But again, I'm 135 pounds myself. This is a standard sand here. We're at the beach. I'm trying to ride it through and really not working, even with pedaling. So I'm gonna walk it over to some hard pack sand now. Okay, it's getting a little bit harder here. And I just tried again. There we go, I got some momentum. Now it's starting to go, kind of going downhill. It's not working all that well. About 13 kilometers per hour. There we go, there's the ocean. Almost there. Okay, now this part right here with the tracks, that's not really fair because it's really bumpy. There we go. Now we're at the hard pack sand that you see, it's moist, so it's not gonna sink in as much, the bike. Okay. Now we're doing a lot better. Still not perfect here. We're maxing out the bars. We're at level 5. I'm squeezing that throttle. Now look, if I get some more speed, sure, it looks fun. I'm making some progress, but it's not. It's kind of slowing back down to that like 15 kilometers per hour when it's on its own. I suppose the closer I get to the water, the more risk I'm having of getting salt on it and rusting stuff. I'm not going to get in the water, but now that it's really hard packed, sure, it works fine. We're getting some good speed, 19, 21, 23. So yeah, on this section of beach, we're good, but up there, it really struggled. I'm gonna take it up and go back up to the soft stuff and see how it does. Yeah, I'm still twisting it full on, as hard as it can go. And the closer we get to the soft sand, this thing is just dying, really dying. And I'm in the lowest gear, so at least it's easy to help it out a little bit. So let's bring it back to the beach now. Whoa, or to the boardwalk. I'm gonna try to ride it there. I still got the throttle cranked all the way. I've got some momentum this time. Okay, there we go. I'm making some headway. Found a tire track, I'm gonna follow that. There we go, oh boy, whoa. It's just really unstable. Did it. Woo. Totally should have worn my glasses. I'm getting sand in my eyes like crazy. This might be a good hill test. I might, again, I don't want to wreck the range thing, but look at this nice little uphill section down there. I'm gonna do that from rest and see how this thing performs. So here we go. Here's that hill. You can kind of see, you know, it's definitely a little uphill section. I'm just gonna gun it and see how this thing does. And I'm at kind of the, you know, right where it starts to pick up. Really struggling. But we're getting there. It's making progress. We're like half a kilometer per hour. I don't think it's gonna make it. It's not giving up yet. Okay, I'm helping it. Okay, so let's look back on that. That's the little hill that we couldn't make up without me pedaling. Not terribly steep, but you know, just for some idea. Again, I'm 135 pounds. So I was really impressed with the Sand Viper, I mean, especially given the budget price and you know, the abundance of fat tire electric bikes out there right now. You know, yeah, you can go to the really extreme ends and get like a mid-drive powered bike, something like the iZip Sumo or the Hi-Bike Fat 6 or the Felt Lebowski. Those are awesome, but they're like thousands of dollars. Again, you have the convenience of taking off the wheels more easily. You have the efficiency and the climbing power of a mid-drive motor versus, you know, something like this that has that front motor and adds a little weight. It's not quite as powerful. It's front-wheel drive versus back-wheel drive. But still, for the price, very impressed with this bike. I've never tested an SSR electric bike before. It was kind of a new company to me, and it's solid. And during that ride test, I went, you know, I think I'd estimate like 15 miles, and again, I'm 135 pounds, 5'9", 15 miles, non-stop throttle, right on like sea level, pretty flat, consistent ground, a little bit of off-road at the beginning to kind of show that off, but that's what you can expect from throttle mode. And what I love about this bike is with those 6 gears and with 5 levels of assist, you could go much further just by not relying on the motor so much, just letting it help you a little bit, but you pedaling along. That ride test was all throttle, or mostly throttle. So yeah, for the full write-up on this, pictures, specs, and other fat style electric bikes, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.